Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Swami Prabhupada ki, Ananda Puri Vaishnava ki, Sadhguru Swami Prabhu ki, Amacharya Haridas Thakur ki, Prem Shri Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Sri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki, Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Goswami Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki, Bolo Sri Brajabhumi Vrindavan Dham ki, Sri Krishna Baldev Bhaiya ki, Jai Gaur Premanand, all glories to Thee, all glories to Thee, all glories to Thee, all glories to Sri Guru,
all glories to Sri
all
Guru,
glories to
Sri
You.
Guru, all glories to Sri Prabhupada.
Om Ajnana Timirandasya. Little bit more. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Kananjala Salakaya Tatsuru Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaya Ramaya Kisvadarantikam Adadanastanandantaya Vidhamyache Guna Guna Srimaru Papadam Bhujodakisam Janmudandani. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpatrubhyascha Kripasindhuvaya Vidam Bhavya Vaishnavaya. So wherever Srila Prabhupada went in the world, before his lecture, he would always sing the song Jai Radha Madhava. This was one of his favorite bhajans. It's a beautiful song by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who's the first in our line of spiritual masters to preach in a language outside of Indian languages, English. In fact, his book, Lord Chaitanya's Life and Precepts, reached McGill University in Canada in 1896, the centennial, the birth years rather, of Srila Prabhupada, sort of predicting. And it's a very, very simple song. It's like we sing some songs in Nartan Das Thakur, always there's some siksha, some instruction to be gained from that. But this song, there's no instruction. Sometimes we sing song, Vala Vala Sangha Inutra, Krishna's herding the cows with the cow boys. Some lila is there, but no lila in the song. Only names of Krishna. But those names of Krishna are placed in such a way that the whole picture of Vrindavan comes. Whole picture of Vrindavan. First he says, Jai Radha Madhav. Because Radha and Madhav, they're the essence of Vrindavan. Otherwise, why are we interested in Vrindavan forest? We've been all over the world. We saw so many beautiful forests in South Africa. We saw extremely beautiful forests in Maui. We see beautiful forests here in Oahu also. In Washington DC also very beautiful forests. In England also very beautiful forests. But why we're interested in this forest of Vrindavan? Because it is the place of Radha and Krishna's pastimes, and the essence of Vrindavan. That is why we have our ruchi there. So see Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava. Kunja Bihari. In Vrindavan there's so many kunjas. And you may ask, what is a kunj? Just like we explained yesterday, that everywhere I go in the world, all the trees, they grow very straight and straight and straight and straight and straight and straight. But if you've been to Vrindavan, you see our trees, they try to grow straight, but they're melting in Krishna praying, they again come down. So when they go up and come down like that, it makes like a little this is a kunj. And many times the branches will come all the way to the ground and little creepers will crawl up. And when the wind blows, the fragrance in the flowers comes in Krishna's image. And we're very happy if we have a big carpet in our house, but usually it's just some synthetic fiber dust collector purpose. But before Radha and Krishna come, the Gopikas have come, sometimes they put Madhavi flower carpet, sometimes Jubi flower, sometimes Malati flower, sometimes smoker flower, sometimes jasmine flower, sometimes lotus petals. This type of carpet Krishna has got in his kunj. So many beautiful kunjas there. Jai Radha Madhava, Kunja Vihari, Gopi Janavada. So many gopis are there because we were discussing every day how Krishna has, Nanda Baba has 9 lakhs of cows. So for milking all those cows, we need lots of gopis, cowherd girls. So Prabhupada explains, when he's talking about this song, so this is Vrindavan. We don't hear about skyscraper buildings and speeding cars and big factories. Just kunjas and cows and gopis and cowherd boys. Natural place. This is Vrindavan. Jai Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, Gopi Jana Madhava, Giri Varadhari. Our picture of Vrindavan will be incomplete without Giriraj. And Giriraj is very powerful in Vrindavan. Every Purnima, people come from all over, even as far as Jaipur and Gwalior, to speak of Braj to do Parikrama. And especially last Purnima, which was Sanatana Goswami's disappearance day. You couldn't get a credit card between the people, so crowded. Because Giriraj is one of the original things of Braj. Just like when you go to Vrindavan, then some panda will grab you and he'll take you underneath this tree. Krishna was playing his flute and give 101 rupees, you'll get mukti. Underneath this tree, Radha and Krishna were swinging, 51 rupees, you'll get mukti. But anyone you can tell this tree is 5,000 years old or not? No, nobody can tell. But if you meet a real Brajbasi, he'll tell you there's 3 original things in Braj. 3 original things in Braj. One is Braj. Braj means dust. So what's so special about dust? Every day we're sweeping it out, we take this machine, trying to get rid of the dust. But when Krishna was in Vrindavan, he was walking barefoot all over this dust. It was just mixed with the lotus foot dust of Sri Krishna. If you see all the devotees and sadhus, they like to go barefoot in Vrindavan. So hoping maybe there's one little speck that Krishna stepped on, I'll step on and I'll become saved. So that dust has been there for millions of years, what to speak of 5,000 years. I mean, there's nothing. Second is Jamuna. Jamuna flows straight down from Delhi, but when she gets to Braj, then she begins to go like this and like this. She doesn't want to leave. When she comes to Vrindavan, she gives big embrace by 3 sides. She embraces Vrindavan. Then she flows like a crescent moon around Mathura, and another crescent moon around Gokul, when she goes off to meet her sister Ganga at Prayag. So that Jamuna has been flowing for millions of years, what to speak of 5,000 years. And third is this Giriraj. Just like we say, as old as the mountains, as old as the hills. So this Giriraj, she's been there for 5,000 years, at least 5 million years probably. And all these 3 things very powerful for giving us Krishna, especially Giriraj. So Giri Bharadari, our picture of Vrindavan will be incomplete without Giriraj. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Bharadava Giri Bharadari Yasoda Nandana. In our picture of Vrindavan, Yasoda is there. She's the emblem of love for Krishna. She loves Krishna so much. She can't even bear to see him go out of her sight. When he goes out herding the cows with the cowherd boys, he walks out of the Nandagam palace and Mother Yasoda follows him. He walks up to the gate to Nandagam, Mother Yasoda follows. He walks through the gate, Mother Yasoda follows him. He said, Maya, all my friends are here, you don't have to worry, I'll be okay. He takes her back to the gate. Again she comes behind. He said, Balda was there. Bal, means strength. Balda was there. Nothing to worry about Maya. He takes her back to the gate. Again he leaves, again she comes back. He said, not just Balda, look, Suba. When we put Su on front of any word, it emphasizes that word. So not just Balda was there, but Suba was there. Very strong, there's nothing to worry. 10 times he has to take her back to the gate. In fact, one time, just to show Mother Yasoda's love for Lala, we remember Krishna lifted that Govardhan hill. See, after he lifted the Govardhan hill, all the cowherd boys were teasing him. Because little boys, they like to tease too much each other. Oh, they were saying, oh, you're a big man, you lifted up the hill, but you're just taking out the calves. You're not taking out the cows. What kind of big man are you? So he couldn't face his friends the next day. They were teasing him too much. So he wouldn't get out of bed. He pulled his cover. And Mother Yasoda was trying to wake him up. Wake up, Lala. What's the matter, Lala? You have a tummy ache, Lala? You have a tummy ache? You have a tummy ache in the tooth, Lala? You have a tummy ache in the head, Lala? Anyway, what's the matter? Anyway, mothers are very expert to get the things out of the children. She found out what the problem was. So she went to Nanda Baba. Baba said, let's talk to Sandili Rishi. It's just like Vasudeva has got Garga Muni as his priest, family priest in Mathura. Nanda Baba's family guru is the disciple of Gargacharya, Sandili Rishi. And Sandili Rishi said, well, today is Gopastami, this is a good day to give him charge of the cows. This is a very special day to give him charge of the cows. But Mother Yasoda does not agree. He says, when he takes the cows, he'll go far away. There may be thorns on the path. There may be rain on the way. The sun may be too hot. She's not agreeing. So Sandhya Rishi said, well, if he had a Kali Kamri, black blanket, sometimes you see Krishna with this little black blanket over his head. It's called Kali Kamri. That Kali Kamri is very special. Threads this way were woven by Lord Shiva, this way they were woven by Lord Brahma. Anybody who has that black blanket, you will not suffer from hunger, thirst, cold, wind, rain, any type of disturbance. So, how can we get away? And then the Baba said, well, Vrishabhanu Maharaj is Kali Kamri. So how can we get it? Because one king can't beg from another king. It's not proper. So Sandhya Rishi said, all right, we'll do some special puja, and that puja I will ask for in dakshina. We'll say before we do the Gopastami ceremony, we have to do Kanya Puja, worship of a virgin girl. So they went to Vrishabhanu Maharaj. Vrishabhanu was very happy, so they did the Kanya Puja. And then the Baba said, oh, this was very wonderful puja. Yes, very nice puja, very wonderful. Vrishabhanu said, yes. Sandhya Rishi said, yes, very nice. And the Baba poked him. Dakshina. Oh, but no puja is complete without dakshina. Oh, what do you want? You want silver, you want diamonds, you want rubies, you want pearls? Actually, we want that Kali Kamri that you have. Acha? Alright, please take it. So anyway, anyhow, they got that Kali Kamri, so then they went back. And Mother Yasoda made a special festival. Because in our Vedic culture, whenever there's some change in the life, we always do some type of function. Like today, we're going to celebrate birthday. But not ordinary. Nowadays, you go in India, you see this, they're doing the same thing. Happy birthday to you. But I see now that Prabhupada has spread his movement all over the world. People are inviting the devotees, you come to our house, it's our son's birthday. We want to have kirtan, harikatha, yagya, like that. Prabhupada is reviving the original Vedic culture. So just like Vijayaram starting the school, Namkaran Sanskar, what do you call it? First grain ceremony. Always there's some special festival. There's some change in the life. So Mother Yasoda made some special function. In that function, she gave Krishna some wooden shoes and an umbrella. And Lala said, Maya, what is the shoe and umbrella? What is the shoe and umbrella, Maya? He said, Lala, now you go far in the forest. There may be stones, there may be thorns, there may be so many things. So you'll need shoes. And sometimes the sun may be too hot, you'll need an umbrella. Sometimes it may be rain, you'll need an umbrella. And Lala said, and Maya, for my cows, you're going to give shoe and umbrella for my cows? Now we just heard Nanda Baba has 9 lakhs of cows. Mother says, Ali, where are we going to get so many umbrellas? And your cows don't wear shoes. Huh? Who's going to carry umbrella for your cows? Oh, why should I give for the cows? You don't know Maya? Cow is very sacred, Maya. Cow is sacred, Lala? Yes, Maya, you don't know. Just like I live in the hearts of all of my devotees, all the demigods live in the body of the cow. She's very sacred. Are Lala, maybe sacred, but I'm not going to give umbrella and shoe for your cows. 9 lakhs times 4, where are we going to use so many shoes? So then Lala said, Maya, then you keep it with you. If my cow is going to go without shoe, then I'm going to go without shoe. If my cow is going without umbrella, I'm going without. You keep these with me. Therefore we were saying Krishna walked all over this dust barefoot. And Srila Sanatana Goswami in his Vaishnava Toshini Tika, he explains that when the cows heard that Krishna is going to go barefoot because of them, they went, in the night, they went all over Braj and smashed all of the stones and rocks into very soft powder, all the thorns, everything they smashed into very soft powder. Sometimes we're fortunate to find those paths, because now they're paving everything. I used to be very fanatic about going on Prikama barefoot, but now every place is paved, it's so hard on the feet. And then they don't pave it properly and it breaks up and it's just little rocks. But sometimes we find those paths with nice, soft dust, just like when we walk from Java to Terkadam. We always make everyone take off their shoes on the last unpaved paths. And there's different types of dust. Some dust is white like camphor, some is reddish like reddish sandalwood, some is colored like chandan. And behind Barsana, there's a village called Uchagam. You go down the road and you turn right across the bridge, you come to Uchagam. You turn left, it goes to a beautiful village called Suner, way down the way, just as you turn left. You walk into the forest, and the sand is so soft. I call it the Johnson & Johnson baby powder rush. It's so soft and fluffy. In fact, whenever I take Radhanath Swami there, he has to put on a mask. Because it says on the bottom for external use only. So soft rush. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Madhava Giri Radha Yesoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana, all the Brajajana. Brajajana means the residents of Braj, all the Vrishvasis there. And Krishna by his own mouth, he is told, Vrishvasi Balav Sada Nida Jivan Prana. These Vrishvasis are more dear to me than my own life. Therefore, Mahaprabhu told Jagadananda that your bhav is different, the Vrishvasi's bhav is different. He said, when you go there, you'll see many strange things. Don't criticize, at the same time don't associate intimately. You won't understand the bhav of the Vrishvasis. He told Jagadananda, you don't offend them, but don't become intimate either. Vrishvasis are very special. Krishna told, Prabhupada told Krishna is their guru. And Raghunath Das, I think it's Raghunath Das, even if Vrishvasis disguise themselves as bloodthirsty dacoit, they're still respectable by name. Brajajana Ranjana, Jamuna. Again, Jamuna has come. This Jamuna is so wonderful. One time in Padma Puran, Narad Muni was telling Yudhishthira Maharaj the glories of Jamuna. And he said Jamuna is so purifying, so powerful, so wonderful. If someone has never taken his bath in Jamuna, then his whole life is Vyart. Vyart means useless and juiceless. So what are we going to do? We're way out in the middle of the ocean, in a tiny little island, there's no Jamuna. I see those streams, we don't have any rivers here. So our life has become useless. No Jamuna. Only we have a little Jamuna. So what to do? He tells Yudhishthira Maharaj further that this Jamuna, she's so powerful. Even if you just remember Jamuna, all your sins will go far away. Even if you just remember. So every day we chant this song, Jai Radha Madhava, remember Jamuna. We're getting our Jamuna Stan, even sitting here in the middle of the ocean in Hawaii. Don't worry. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihara Gopi Jana Giri Radha Sodanadana Radha Jamuna Tira Bana Chari. Tira means bank, not the ones that are ripping us off, but like the banks of the river. And Ban means forest. Actually, Vrindavan should be forest. Jai Siti Panchadasa. That was one of the things I forgot to mention about Madhuban. When we go to Madhuban, to the place where Dhruva Maharaj performed his austerities, there we actually see beautiful forests. We came to Vrindavan expecting to see forests, but it almost looks more like your wacky bee than forest. Unfortunately. Though it means that Prabhupada put Vrindavan on the map. But still there's beautiful places. And one of those most beautiful places is Dhruv Tilavar in Madhuban, where Dhruva Maharaj performed his mysteries. Beautiful, tall, we call poplar trees in here. They grow very, very tall. And so many tamal trees. Obviously, tamal is becoming rare, but so many tamal trees. And so many kadamba trees are there. Just now they're blooming for a second time. We get information. Nice rain yesterday. And we hear the birds. We go there, first thing you notice the birds are singing. They have little gray doves. And they sing, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham. I'm listening every day here, your birds go, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham. Sometimes they get excited. Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. And the kokilas are singing. And we have another bird, and he's a little bit bigger than a crow, and black as a crow, but he has reddish brown wings. In Braj we call Dogina. And he goes like this. You ever heard? See Krishna, you heard this one? In Rajasthan we call Ratan Paki. Then there's a little kund there, so on the sides of the kund, roof kund. The government has fixed it all up. They bulldozed so many beautiful trees to do it. They're living some of those really beautiful kund and beautiful steps. Little pavilions for you to sit and chant. But around the edge of the kund there's a little bird. He's got a nice white starched shirt and a black coat, black jacket. And his tail goes boop, 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 as he walks around the point. And he sits at one corner and he goes, so like this we find real forest there. Such a sweet place. Jamuna Tira Banachari. On the banks of the Jamuna, there's 12 forests. 12 forests over there. Whole area we call Braj. Sometimes we call the whole area Vrindavan. Vrindavan is the most famous of all the, so he stands as representative for all the 12 forests. But actually in Vishwasi they call it Braj, bridge. On the eastern bank of the Jamuna, eastern tier, we have Bhadravan, Bandirvan, where we went the other day, then Belvan, also known as Srivan, because Lakshmi Devi is staying there, Srivan, or Bilvavan, Bilva is Sanskrit for bells, many bell trees are there in that one. Then Lohavan, then Gopur Mahava, one forest has got 2 names, Gopur Mahava, 5 forests. And on the western bank of Jamuna, there's 7 forests. Madhuban, we're just in Madhuban. Next is Thalavan, then Kamudvan, the little forest called Kamudvan, then Bahulavan, they also went to Bahulavan yesterday, and then the biggest Vrindavan, another big forest, Kamivan, and then just near Nandigaparsam there's a little forest called Kaniravan. So 7 and 5, 12 forests. So simple little song, but whole picture of Vrindavan is coming. Jai Radha Madhava, Kunj Bihari, Gopi Janadada, Giri Radhamari, Yasoda Nandana, Raja Janamajan, Jamuna Sita, and therefore this was Prabhupada's very dear bhajan, and he chanted every word in the morning before his action. So now you have something to think about when you chant this song every morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Unfortunately, our visit is coming to a close.
More than that, more.
He's asking for more nectar.
Okay, we'll go to Talavan.
Could you pull the microphone
Okay, we'll go to Talavan. Although in the old Krishna book, they drew the tall trees just like a date palm, with little straight leaves like this. It's like you're a coconut palm. But actually it's a fan type of palm. You know what I mean by fan type? Round like this. And in the rainy season they get all these big, they're like barrel-shaped, purplish, like barrel-shaped eggplants. All in, there's a stalk and they all go around like this. And then gradually they turn bright orange with little purple highlights from the purple stage. And they're sweet just like mangoes. They're usually very stringy, so you make juice with them. Very nice flavor. So now there's one forest where there's so many tall trees were growing. Now if you go there, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4 tall trees are left. And they're not very tall. Ordinary tall trees are very tall trees. So one day, the cowboys were playing on the western side of Talavan. How do I know they were on the western side? Because having lived in Braj for so many years, I've seen that in the hot season, the wind blows from the west to the east, the blue. And in the rainy season, the wind blows from the east to the west. So the cowboys were all playing. They were somewhere coming from Govardhan hillside. And they were very hungry and they smelled the tall fruits of Talavan. So for them to smell the tall fruits, they had to be in the western side because the wind would blow from the east. So they asked Krishna Balaram, oh, we want to take tall fruits. But this tall forest was protected by a demon in the form of an ass named Denkasur. He and all his ass friends were living in the forest. And this forest belonged to, all these tall trees belonged to Kans. So they were bringing all these tall fruits for Kansa's enjoyment, and whatever was left over, they enjoyed. So no Vaishnava, no Brishvasi ever took any of these fruits, because these demons were guarding the forest. So then, Krishna, he winked at Balaram, because there's a history, this Dudukasura, he was coming in the line of Prahlad Maharaj. Just now my brain is not blank, I can't remember his name. But he was a descendant of Prahlad Maharaj. And it's not in Bhagavatam, but in other Puranas, that one of the benedictions that Prahlad took was that Krishna wouldn't kill any of his descendants. So Krishna can't kill this Dhenukasura. So he went to Baladev. The Baladev understood the situation. So he went there and he took a tal tree and he began to shake it. Now you can just understand how strong is Baladev. Because I've tried to shake the tal tree. I can't even move it a millimeter.
It's like a coconut tree.
Huh?
It's like a coconut tree. You can't really.
So by Baladev, he began to shake it like this. And all the tall fruits began to fall down. Thud, 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 thud. So you know donkeys, they have big long ears. So Dhenukasura, he understood. Sahasik, that was his name. He was in the line of Prahlad Maharaj, because Prahlad was born in the family of demons. Sahasik, one time, he was sitting before his guru with his legs sticking out. It's like we hear in the japa tape, sit properly. That was our dear Governor Gopal. He told us a story. Sit properly. So he was sitting with his legs sticking out. He said, "You're sitting just like an ass. We shouldn't point our legs at anyone for that matter, especially at the guru." He said, "You're sitting just like an animal. You should become an ass." And he begged forgiveness. He said, "But later Baladev will come and liberate you." So Dhenukasura, with his big long ears, he heard that somebody's shaking his tall tree, stealing the fruits. So immediately he came running, and Prabhupada says that ass, he sings nice poetry. He thinks it's very nice. And again, he turned his back. We never turn our back to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He turned his back to Baladev. Not only turned his back, he began to kick him with his hooves, with his hard hooves, we can't imagine. But Baladev, he felt it just like somebody was throwing a flower garland in his chest. And he grabbed the hind legs of Dhenukasura, and he swung him around and around and around and around. And just by the centrifugal force, the soul came out of the body. He threw him into a big tall tree, on the top of the tall tree. That tall tree fell over, hit another one, that one hit another one. Ping, 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 like dominoes. Then all of Dhenukasura's friends came running. And they attacked both Krishna. Dhenukasura has been taken care of, so now Krishna can get into there. They were throwing the asses, and they were different colors. So it looked like different colors. All they were throwing the tops of the trees, so they're everywhere in the tops of the trees, looking like different colored clouds. Anyway, it was a big mess. So the cowboys, there's lots of blood and such. The cowboys, they didn't eat the fruits these days, but the Pulindas who were living in the forest, they were also captured by Kamsa as his slaves, and they're living in the forest. And they're forest dwellers, so they ate the fruits. But since I said that when the fruits come in rainy season, so after a while the rain washed away all the dirt and everything, and then the cowboys would come quite often to Talavan and enjoy tall fruits. And suddenly King Kamsa, his supply of tall fruits was cut off. He understood that Krishna has killed his ally, Dhenukasura. He became very angry. One time we came there to Talavan. It was just before Kartik, so that's rainy season. There was still a couple of fruits left in the tree. So immediately, the Mahant who was there at that time, was Priyasaran Baba. He said one of his disciples, you go up there and get those fruits, then they squeeze them out and strain them, made juice. And all the devotees were pouring out their Bish Lahari. Bish means poison, Lahari means waves. Waves of poison, Bish Lahari. And filling up their bottles with tall fruit juice. We were all enjoying tall fruit juice. So Dhenukasura, he represents, Bhaktivinoda describes, he represents the false ego of material consciousness. Material consciousness means work hard and enjoy hard. This is the motto of the Americans. Work hard and enjoy hard. No spiritual vision whatsoever. Just try to enjoy the material senses to the hilt. And he's symbol of foolishness. The ass, he's working hard all day. We hear all these things, but we can go to India, we can go to Vrindavan, we can see the asses carrying loads of bricks, loads of sand, huge piles of laundry. And he's walking through the grass all day long. At the end of the day, his master gives him a little grass. Grass was on the side of the road everywhere he went. But he's thinking, unless I work hard, how I can enjoy grass? I have to work very hard. Grass is everywhere. But he's thinking, unless I work hard, how I can enjoy grass? Just like there were some dacoits in the forest, and some merchants came through that forest. The dacoits attacked them. So the merchants immediately gave up all of their goods and wealth and everything to save their lives. And the dacoits still beat them up. I said, hey, we gave you everything. Why are we without doing some work? How are we going to eat? And the ass is another name. He's so foolish. There's another name is Vaisak Nandan. We know the month of Mahaprabhu's appearance as Falgun. After Falgun comes Chaitra, it gets hotter. And the next month is very hot. April, May, that's called Vaisak. Very hot and dry. So there's very little grass, just a little bit of not very nice grass, very dry grass. So the ass, he eats some grass here, he walks a little ways, he finds some more grass. He walks a little way, he finds some more grass. He walks a little way. He walks for kilometers and kilometers to fill his belly. Then he looks back and he thinks, wow, I walked so far, I must have eaten so much grass. And he becomes very happy. And we see happy people, they become a little fatty. So he becomes everyone else is suffering. But the ass, he's called Vaisak, and he's very happy in the dry season. Because he thinks, I walked so far, I must have eaten so much grass. Then rainy season comes. And he eats grass, and eats grass, and eats grass, and he hardly moves anywhere, and he looks back, and I didn't go anywhere, I didn't eat any grass today. He becomes very worried, and we see worried people, they become very skinny. So in the rainy season, the ass becomes very sickly. So he's very happy in Vaisak and very sickly in his called Vaisak. There's a very beautiful deity there, Dauji, and little Kanaya, and Dauji and Revati. Somebody's put Revati there. Revati's not part of Brajlila, she's part of the Lord. In Gujarat, not far from Somnath, there's a mountain called Raivat, where Raivat Maharaj lives. And Raivat Maharaj had a very, very beautiful daughter. Because she was the daughter of Raivat, she became Revati, the daughter of Raivat, who's Revati. And Maharaj Raivat, he was very, very picky. He was trying to find a husband for his daughter. But he was super picky. He was very attached to his daughter. The fathers are very attached to the daughters. I know I have. So he interviewed so many candidates, but he wasn't satisfied with anyone. He wasn't going to give his daughter to just anyone anymore. Finally, he decided to go consult with Lord Brahma. So he took Revati with him. He went up to Brahmaloka. And you know, whenever you go to see your temple president, or not our temple president here, but generally, there's a big sign, meeting going on, do not disturb. You go to see your GBC or your authority meeting going on. So Lord Brahma was having a meeting with all the devas. So Revati and Raivat, they sat in the waiting room. After some time, Brahma came and said, all right, buddy, please come in. What do you want? And he began to explain all the people that he had interviewed. And Brahma began to laugh. He said, all the people you talk about, they have died. Their children have died, their children have died, their children have died. Nobody even talks about the names, even remembers the names of the people you're talking about. Because we know Brahma's on a different time. It's like in the Brahma Vimohan Leela, Brahma thought he went away for a moment. And 1 year, that was a moment. Now they sat waiting for a meeting. And Murphy, he describes a meeting as an event where hours are kept and minutes are lost. I mean, minutes are kept and hours are lost. Minutes are kept and hours are lost. The hours went, eons went by on the earth while he was waiting. And he started out in Satyuga. But Lord Brahma said, don't worry. When you return back to the earth, by that time Dwapar Yuga will be coming to an end. And in Dwarka there's a very handsome fellow named Balabhadra. He's the perfect person for your wife, your husband, for your daughter. So when they came back down to the earth, they saw it was true. Everybody was small. They started out in Satyuga. People were very tall, and now they're very small. They same to Dwapar. And they went to Dwarka, and they met with Baladev Prabhu. And Baladev Prabhu was also playing the part of ordinary human being. So he was also short. And he began to look at this big, tall girl. Now in India, we always try to make the matches matching very nicely. They should be same color, same caste, same community, same temperament. Everything should be same. Just like my poor Pujari in Vrindavan, he became so shocked. One time, I have a very dear friend in England named Krishna Chaitanya. And Krishna Chaitanya, he's so black, he makes the nighttime look like daytime. And his wife, who by the way, his name is Jamuna, she's so white, she makes the snow look like gold. And Pujari said, they're a couple. You couldn't imagine anybody would make such a match. You know Krishna Chaitanya. So Baladev, they should be about the same height, or the girl should be a little shorter. So Baladev, he looked at this big, tall girl. So he took his plow, he put it on Revati's shoulder, and brought her down to the right side. So she's actually not part of Brajvi, but anyway, it was a deity of Revati. So we'll put our voice to rest here. We thank you very much.
I have a question, actually. Is it possible?
You can have a question.
Can I ask a question without too much? Somebody that I was talking with some.
You're very soft spoken, so you have to speak louder.
I was speaking with one lady, she's a visitor to our temple, was in England, and she was asking about this material world and the spiritual realm. And she understood, because she was visiting the classes that were going on in the temple, that everybody is Prakriti. That the living entity is actually Prakriti, connection with Krishna. And so that's female energy, feminine energy. So she was wondering then why in the spiritual realm, why are some of the associates of Sri Krishna in male bodies and some are in female
Krishna
bodies?
likes to enjoy varieties of pastimes. So he has his pastimes with his friends, he has his pastimes with the gopis, he has his pastimes. Mother Yasoda and Nanda Baba have a different relation, Vatsalya. Prabhupada said varieties of mother of enjoyment. So Krishna likes to enjoy all varieties of pastimes. In one sense, we can also say the cowboys are also in female because they're enjoyed by Krishna. But Krishna enjoys them in the form of cowboys. Because he likes to have varieties of enjoyment. For our understanding here, that we should recognize ourselves as servant. Now we're thinking we're the center of the universe and everything should be done for me and I should enjoy everything. And we should understand that we're meant to be enjoyed by Krishna. And our enjoyment comes from serving Krishna. The hand may go on strikes and why everything's going to the belly. This is unjust. We're going to make a strike. We're going to start a movement. We want hand rights. Nowadays everybody's worried about human rights, this rights, that rights, minority rights. Nobody's worried about duty. We're always thinking, what is my right? We never think about duty. We should serve. We're servants. When the hand gives the food to the stomach, then the energy is distributed to the entire body. The hand becomes satisfied, the body becomes satisfied, everything becomes satisfied. So in that sense, we should offer pleasure to Krishna. So the cowboys are offering pleasure to Krishna in the form of cowboys.
I do have another question. Very good. Because the pastimes of Krishna are so varied and so beautiful, so inconceivable and wondrous. And so, when you see painting of Krishna, you see action. So my question is it almost, would you say that it's offensive to actually like to see a painting rather than the Archa Vigraha form of the Lord?
Rather than
seeing we want to see the Archa Vigraha form of the Lord, but is there any offense in wanting to meditate more on a photo, a photo of the action of the Lord, rather
no
than
offense.
to see just the
We want to become
still
attached to
form?
Krishna, either moving or action or non-action. We just want to become attracted to Krishna.
Sorry, I'm
The main thing is to hear. One servant of Prabhupada told me one time he had a picture in front of his face and he was chanting very intensely. Prabhupada said, what are you doing? He said, I'm meditating on Krishna's form. He said, no, you hear. The main thing is to hear Krishna's name for us.
But it's not offensive, is it, to really enjoy, to really want to see the active form of the Lord rather than the still form of the Lord.
But Archa Vigraha is also, we have remember Raghavananda? He asked Prabhupada, Krishna just standing there like that? No, he's performing pastimes. You can't see it. He's all day, he's just standing like this. He said, no, he's performing his pastime. Okay, so we'll put our voice to rest here. Thank you.